This is Sandman1MT and welcome to my channel. Today we're here to discuss Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, games of the like, their gacha system that they have in place, and the gambling that we kindly refer to as the character banners that we all wish upon because, well, let's be honest, the boobs and the butts, fellas. And how my account has gone so far since they've released it on the PlayStation 5 console was one of the reasons that brought me into the game, as well as some of the videos I saw of, well, let's be honest, Carlotta, and amazing gameplay she provided. And this isn't 40 pulls into my initial banner, and you can tell it didn't go too well for me. I got a character that I at least wanted. The ones I actually wanted on this banner would have been Encore or Verena, because Encore would actually be a direct replacement for my Klee character from Genshin Impact, and Verena, well, would replace my Nihita, and she does great healing. And I figure, well, if I'm pulling on Carlotta's banner, I'd have myself a team that I can play in the world and have a lot of fun in this game. And I have not spent any money at this point. But that's how these games kind of pull you in. It's kind of like the drug dealer on the side of the streets. Hey, bud, you want to go ahead and try a little Carlotta? Well, there's a chance for it. The first free pulls are on us. No strings attached. Just play a little and see what you think. And you go ahead and say, oh, that seems reasonable. So you start playing the game, and you find some enjoyment and everything else out of it. And sure, you know, you lost on your first banner, but it kind of introduces you into the whole entire gambling system, kind of warming you into it like you would a lobster. You just don't dump it in boiling water. You slowly turn the heat up. And before you realize it, you're cooked. And that's where the gotcha aspect comes in. However, a lot of people say, well, that's real lucky. He's already got Sanma. And now you got yourself a complete team set up on it. And I'm hearing all that, and I'm pulling on the banners, and I'm thinking I'm doing real well in this. And that's where you get more and more pulled into these games and the systems that they create for it. But I have to admit, as playing Wuthering Waves, they are very generous with what they give you, both in resources for building your characters up and also the ability to go ahead and pull on these banners. I'd say probably as a new player, they give you somewhere around 120 to 150 wishes by the time's all said and done that you can apply towards the standard and banner, and between the standard banner and the premium banner like I'm pulling on right here. So you have a chance to build and have a lot of fun this count without spending any money. But where they get you into these systems is these premium characters are only on a limited time basis, and that's where the FOMO comes in, because you only have a certain time period to get these characters that you really want to go for, and you don't know when they're going to return. Eventually they might, but games like Genshin are really predatory towards that, where some characters like Kazuha took them a year to come out. And there's one recently, Eula, was over, I think it was like 18 months before it came out. So people can really get stuck in this fear of missing out, and when their wishes don't go the way they want, they're more prone to actually open their wallet and figure to themselves, well, I really like this character and it's only this one time. And as soon as you go ahead and buy off and the top off in these systems, that's where they got you. You are invested in this game. You're going to do whatever it takes, and they know now that you've opened your wallet to this point, you know, you're open to other things as well. And that's where the system can be really predatory, especially for those younger, 15, 16 years old that are coming to a game like this, because they just don't have that impulse control. And even me as a grown adult, I lack some of that even to this very day. Now this is where the player continues to go and pull, knowing that they're going to be guaranteed towards a 50-50 or whatever on this. But as a new player, you're thinking, oh my God, it finally turned gold. And you're excited at this point. All the bells and whistles, and you just saw the flash on the screen, and you're excited. And they really pulled you in at this point. And you're looking, and you're like, get out of the way, girl. I'm waiting to go ahead and see my 5-star Carlotta character. And finally, here it is, your Carlotta. Hey, wait a minute.
Please, make some room.
Encore? Okay, then you think to yourself, well, I did want this character. I got that out of the way. And your heart's still dropping, but you're doing some serious coping like Darth Vader right now. I still have some wishes left. And it's guaranteed. So you continue to pull on this banner. You've worked really hard and you got all your time invested and everything else, and they actually pried open your wallet to go ahead and buy a monthly pass for the next 3 months, you figure to yourself. So, it's worth it. I can still get her. And every 10 pull, you're like, come on, gold, each one's purple. And then you realize you grinded a few more days and everything else, and you've spent a little more money now. Because you're starting to panic. And now all of a sudden it finally turns gold because you justified yourself. You did that secondary top off now because, well, it was guaranteed. How could you not? And you've already spent that other money to begin with to force it to turn gold during your loss. And otherwise you feel like you've lost all that money, even though now you've lost $150 to get to this point now. However,
fate has led you to me. And considering the terms I'm offering, you wouldn't refuse me.
Oh my God,
would you?
Even her boobs jiggle in this. That's where I said it's the boobs and the butts, people. And you get that excitement and that adrenaline running through you. Sorry, I just had to let her play her voice line through. But that's the reason I've pulled in this banner. And I started playing the game because the character's awesome looking. And quite frankly, she replaces 3 of my Genshin characters. Navia, Clorinde, and Chevreuse. And I figured I spent a little extra money and I pulled on her weapon as well. A little bit later on this and everything else, but this is me pulling on the standard banner thinking I'm going to have myself a secondary character to start clearing the tower for DPS, and I figured, well, I got Encore, I might want to have this guy as well as a throwaway for the 3rd team, but that's the other thing about the whole entire gacha aspect. Now I'm no longer concentrating on the main open world, I'm worried about the tower. And they pull you in the tower. That's actually the backdoor casino because they're like, hey, bud, you just lost on your banner and you want your weapon and everything else. You can go ahead and come in here and get some free wishes for it. And you think to yourself, okay, that sounds awesome. I've already gotten her weapon and everything else. Why wouldn't I go in the tower? It's free wishes. However, once you get in there, you realize the way they have it set up, you have to have 9 characters altogether. I know there's a lot of content creators out there that'll go ahead and be in the meta and everything else telling you, no, you can go ahead and do it just with 1 or 2 characters, get good and everything else. However, I'll still be building characters that I don't want to build just to play in a tower where honestly it's not bad looking, but it's nothing compared to the open world. So now I'm going to feel bad about my wishes and everything else for the characters I'm building up, because now all of a sudden, like in this current tower, you can't go ahead and use Carlotta in one team because, well, they're all immune to ice. Well, that means I have to have a secondary team built up. And as a new player, well, I don't have to have that team built. Well, now I'm going to have to invest in either some other 4-star characters and everything else that I don't have the resources to build right yet. And then I'm figuring I'm missing out on these wishes. However, they might sell me the solution here in these characters that are in the premium banner that allow some ease to get around that. And of course, I fell in this fear of FOMO because I've ended up at this point now buying all the top offs here in the packages to get this point, because I'm figuring to myself, well, I've already gotten my Carlotta. Maybe I'll get lucky and get Zeshi. And here we are pulling on that portion of the banner. And, their tactics have worked. They got me. And thank God it paid off. And now I'm figuring to myself, I got myself a full team. Now, of course, this is in the banner before the recent one came out, the tower, before they had the ice immunity. And now you got Zeshi, You got Carlotta and Sanhua, but all those are ice characters. And you're thinking, oh my God, now I don't have something for the second team. I can't clear this. And that's where the second predatory part kicks in, where honestly, they're just as bad as Genshin Impact into that. And Honkai Star Rail, they basically make it to where, you know, some characters can't be go ahead and used, or like I said, you have to build up so many characters to clear that content.
Greetings, Rover. I will escort you for the time being.
Now, I've switched over to the standard banner again, where you're guaranteed your free 5-star standard character, and I've selected Verena on this one. So, like I said, it's really nice in Wuwa, where they give you these character choices and everything else. And I'm really glad I went ahead and I chose her, but I really wish I didn't pick the calculator from earlier in fear of needing a secondary DPS. I really wish I went for a second copy of this character for S1, because that would have provided continued healing, and to a new player that would have been really helpful, because, you know, I make a lot of mistakes through this learning process. And that's just would have been really helpful for that. And as you can see, they're generous with their wishing in the system, because I've already earned almost another 210 pulls just in the last couple days of playing this. So I figure I'm going to go for her S1, since I managed to go ahead and lose my first 50-50. However, I won my 50-50 for Zeshi. I got her weapon in only 20 pulls, and I figured why not go for S1 and have this count go with a real strong start, especially since, well, like I said, I fell into the predatory practice of, you know, buying every top off in their package now, because they offer you double the amount, which, to be honest, that's what they should do all the time, is offer that amount. That should be the bare minimum. However, we've all come to accept this practice as being, oh, once a year they reset it. This is great, when it should have just been the regular price from the very beginning. However, I am having a lot of playing time in this Wuwa. I've got about 120 hours now in the last 30 days, and I have had full enjoyment in the world, including the storylines. I think they've done a lot of fixes from what people did during the first playthrough on this, but they've really done some improvements and everything else that I'll be uploading those storylines and everything else on my channel just to showcase some of the changes they've made. And you can see that in small blocks that I'll be uploading a little bit later on. That'll be between 5 and no more than 15 minutes. And I'll cut out any unnecessary gameplay. So that way you can see my progress through this and join me in my journey through Wuwa, because I am having an amazing time. I really am. And these are a couple single pulls, and I managed to get her S1. So this is no further money spent, but like I said, at this point, this is a $200 account. So I do not recommend that people spend money like this, particularly in top-offs. And like I said, there's the boobs and butts that brought me into this again. And now I'm all elated and figuring, well, I'm all set in the game. And it'll give me a lot of enjoyment. But as you can see, you know, this is what they showcase out in their open world now finally. And this is another spot where they give you more premium currency and things to build your characters. And like I said, Wuwa is very generous when it comes to this. And you just got to not fall into the predatory practices and treat the tower like it should be, as a secondary game. And that's going to be coming to one of my points that I have a concern here when it comes to Wuwa, Genshin, and all other games. We all come to the games because how beautiful the world is, and we've really glossed how great Renacita is and Flight and everything else. But we keep on calling the in-game content the tower. That should be the side content. The tower is, like I said, the back door into the casino that makes you feel bad about the characters you currently have, making you think that you have to continue to get other characters, whether you need them or not, to clear this content. And I'm telling you, even if you never even touch the tower or get minimal clears, you're losing a maximum of 80 wishes a year, people. And so why spend 160 to put towards a character that you might not want, but instead invest your time and resources in enjoying the open world and treat the tower for what it is, and the abyss that they have in these games as side content that it is. Don't listen to all these other content creators that go out for the meta that just make you feel bad about your builds or how well you're playing or not playing. So that would be my advice to new players or veteran players alike. And I wish they'd just stop calling that in-game content, because it's not. And unfortunately, that's become accepted practice. I believe that they should have the open world just as difficult as the abyss level. It should keep with the same character level that you're currently at. And right now, even with me being right next to level 50, I'm on a 70, and I'm single clearing it with Carlotta. And that's a little bit too easy. It shouldn't happen like that. It really shouldn't. And that takes some of my enjoyment out of it. Like I mentioned when I was complaining about Genshin Impact, has the same problem and issue. That they go ahead and have you out in open world becomes too easy, and the only content that becomes in-game at that point for you is the Abyss and Tower, and that's the place where they make you feel bad about what you have, or like in the Tower, you can only use the character so many times. And by the way, folks, this is actually my first back-to-back 50-50 win. This was between two different banners, so this is literally my very next pull.
All the world's a stage.
And I ended up pulling for this character for, like I said, she's great in gathering and everything else, and is a character that people underrated and everything else. And so I found her worth getting on my banner. However, and everything else, once again, I did drop a little bit of cash on it. I spent $100 top off at this point to go ahead and get her, thinking that, well, I was going to get her, single copy of her in her weapon, because it is kind of needed for her and she's more of a premium pull. And also I felt more of the need, because once again, prodded, it'd be nice for future content coming out that they're going to have a grouper and some other element besides ice, and you're going to have at least two teams that clear that'll be really strong. And so I fell in this trap again. And that's why I kind of put this video out as kind of a warning to others to wish and spend responsibly, and to actually pull for whoever you want. And the content of my channel is going to cover more of a casual gameplay, where I mention the characters I like and what aspects that I enjoy in the game that might be overlooked by those other people who are just after the quickest clear times and how many wishes you can get out of that. Mine's going to be more of a take of enjoying the game and the characters, wishing really who you want for, and trying not to make team comps that might not be usually used to do content. Like, I love Alto, and I'm going to find a team comp somehow that I can use him in. So if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave that in the comments below, because I just love that character. I think he should have been the first 5-star, preferably in a different element. And I know Mortefi is a great 4-star and everything else, but he does not have the charisma and pizzazz that Alto has. And I just love that bang, 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 bang that he does. It's quite addicting to go ahead and tap that basic button with him. However, I'd really appreciate if you guys would hit that like and subscribe. I am a single content creator, and as you can see, I kind of spent some of my own money on this, and it'd be nice if I can get to 1,000 subscribers, so I can at least go ahead and get at least pizza and a soda out of the deal once a month for my efforts. So I really appreciate you guys joining me today and hearing me out with what I had to say. And I say pull responsibly, spend responsibly. Wuthering Waves is a great game to go ahead and check out. Just be wise with how you go ahead and play these games if you're new to the gacha genre, or you've been a veteran for a while, that you can really take the time to enjoy these. Just realize that the tower is, it's predatory along with the abyss. And just enjoy these games for what they have to go ahead and offer, and you will go ahead and be ahead of and winning before everyone else is who's spending money like I just did today. Let this be just a cautionary tale for you guys. So like I said, once again, hit that like and subscribe. I'll hope to see you soon.